Hello, Professor Mischke. For this lesson, the anticipatory set is I will be asking the students what they did this weekend, because it is Monday, and then we're going to be accessing prior knowledge by writing on the board all the things we know about Henry VIII and Sir Thomas More, as we're starting a new text called A Man for All Seasons by Robert Bolt, and then we're going to be handing out the text and reading through the preface. Thank you.
So awkward, Mr. Jones.
Yeah, that's fine.
Buenos dias.
We got everybody busy today.
I'm so glad you guys came in today.
Otherwise, you'd just be an Emily meeting one.
Yeah. Oh man. Talk about awkward.
Hey, you are about to get us,
Chia now.
not chia tea, just like kawa today. And Emily went swimming.
I went swimming.
You went swimming?
Yeah, it was just me and the Smiths.
I know. I'm not stupid. It's been raining all week and it's already been cold.
It's just me and the Smiths.
I'm bored of studying.
Board of study.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I finished all my pre-notes, so now I want to study.
No.
So that's why we're starting your text.
Is it like a story? Because it doesn't look like a story.
We're gonna talk about it.
Oh, the cover is pretty. It feels nice. Is it play? It's written in play format.
It's really class.
It changed how I'm singing.
No question.
Just waiting for
Why do they have a quote for the New York Times?
I'll take it.
The quote.
So
So how was your weekend? I heard Friday was lots of fun. Yeah.
Cough, cough, we have.
I was gonna bring that. No. Powers that you can have.
cool. No. So I definitely do want to start out by asking you, how was your guys' weekend?
Oh my gosh, stop. You got it.
Can I sit there?
Huh? You can wherever you want.
Never mind.
So yeah, what did you guys do this weekend? What'd you do?
Wait, this is for you.
You studied?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and I went through a painting phase, and like painted a bunch of pictures.
What kind of pictures?
Watercolors.
Of what?
Oh, I did one of my favorite Tumblr posts, which is like cool. I painted a hand, and then I painted like a anime type person.
Okay.
Because they usually
She painted
realistic.
you.
They usually exactly. I usually paint realistic, so I kind of did more abstract.
Yeah.
I rarely get time to paint, but study really brings out that don't want to study in me.
Okay.
I was sitting really hard.
And back, what did you do?
I studied.
Studied. That's it.
Pretty much my life.
Yeah, so
Oh man. Did you also just study this weekend? What did you
I
do?
read
Read what?
Called me on
the book thief.
Oh, you had the book thief.
I'm reading Roses of Fire.
It's really good.
reading my Bible.
It is really good.
I haven't.
The fact that I always say it, but Death being the narrator is such a
It's
brilliant
so
idea.
cool.
Oh man. And it doesn't ruin
Your dad
anything by
tells the
saying
story. You really have to listen.
it. Ooh.
I'm here.
This is great.
I'm not that fast of a reader, so.
So why
Was it Liza Lindenberg? Was it Liza? Has she done a foot race with the boy yet?
Just ruin the story?
I know, it's like midway through.
Yeah, she was at like here.
Yeah, okay. For the kiss.
Yeah. She's like, and that could never happen. So funny. It's just like, I like how he narrates like in her mindset almost.
So for me, I was actually a little, what?
I'm gonna talk about the book. I'm sorry. It's almost like you forget that it is the narrator until
Correct.
you're like, I picked up 15 more that day, and you're like, oh right, it's dead. Oh, it's so cool. Because it just kind of tells the story, and it's like,
Right.
and then my job got harder, or like whatever. Or like, I got more busy, or something like that. Oh, damn.
Only 15. People like die every 3 seconds.
Yeah,
I don't know.
because of the specific reason.
Oh,
Stupid.
Cool.
And then talks
asked about like, you should be nice to the kids in Africa, the Jews.
So I was actually going to Mount Flint this weekend. So
Not
so I went on Mount Flint.
A mountain flight. He flew a mountain.
That's what the Polly's doing.
Steve Momos. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is ask you guys to list everything you guys know about Henry VIII and Sir Thomas More.
He killed 6 wives.
He was young.
Well,
He killed 6 wives. He killed like 4.
Oh wait,
okay, Henry VIII. What's the first
divorced,
thing?
beheaded, she died.
He was the 8th
Divorced,
Henry.
beheaded, he died. I remember that.
Correct. That is right. Divorced, beheaded. She died. Divorced, beheaded. He died. Yeah. So how many wives did he have?
6.
He had 6 wives.
And like only one gave him a son, but he died at 12.
No, didn't he burn him or something?
He did have a son from
It
his
was really
third wife.
third wife.
And his name's Edward, and he lived longer than Henry VIII. Like,
But he died at 12.
right, no, Henry VIII died before Edward died, if that makes sense. And then Edward died very young and was not able to be king for very long. He was
And he
only-
kept blaming his wives for his mom.
And he had pneumonia.
What was his problem? He couldn't get it on, yeah. So it's 6 wives. You mentioned he was
We
young.
watched the Simpsons version of this.
So he was young when he became king because his father, Henry the
Seven.
Oh! Yeah, so he was young. He became king at 18.
I could become king at 18.
Became king. What else do you guys know about it?
It looks like Becca.
Becca.
You're smiling more with this lesson than normal.
He became king at 18. What else do you know? Okay. Anything you guys know about this? It's fine.
He was kind of a jerk.
He was, yeah.
Everyone thought
He was Catholic,
Oh, yeah, okay. He was Catholic, but what?
but
He
he wasn't a good Catholic.
Everyone thought he'd be really good when he became king, but he was kind of horrible.
But he killed a pope.
He killed a lot.
Oh, he made the Church of England.
He did make the Church of England Catholic, but
Yeah. But he wanted to divorce his wife.
correct. So, but wanted to divorce.
Or kill him.
No, but that's not why there was the Church of England. So he split off from the Catholic Church to make the Church of England to make this divorce.
His
Right.
wife. Which one?
His first wife, actually.
really?
Remember?
It's just downhill from there.
I know.
Is
So
that-
his first wife is
was-
Catherine of Aragon.
Spain.
Correct.
Spain.
The sixth wife should have just taken the hint. Be like, wives don't do well with this guy. Let's not.
So his first wife, Catherine of Aragon, they were actually married for 23 years. So quite a long time. He really tried with her. He really tried hard.
And then say, screw it.
No, because he didn't have
But
kids.
he wasn't getting boys with Catherine of Aragon.
Did
He
he
needed
have-
a boy.
wait,
He needed a
who's-
man to take the throne.
Who was Elizabeth's
He
mom?
was like, Ephesus.
Elizabeth's mom was Catherine of Aragon.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. So he was able to have Elizabeth, Mary and Elizabeth. were
You're
the two.
welcome. One of the best rulers of England. Like divorce.
So he did have, he had he had 3 kids.
He has.
Oh, and Mary Queen of Scots. That was not his.
So he
best.
had Bloody Mary, yeah, where we get that name from, the Queen
Wait,
Mary.
why was
and
it
Queen
called Bloody
Elizabeth.
Mary? Didn't he like
She's
scalp
like,
her?
Because she killed a lot of people. She killed, because she was extremely Protestant because of her father.
Wait, I thought she was a
Oh,
Protestant.
no, she was Catholic, she was Catholic, and she killed a lot of
Elizabeth was
Protestant, and the Queen Elizabeth was Protestant, that is correct.
Okay,
And then it turned
five
into
years
a
ago.
gross tomato drink.
What was that?
The blood.
Yeah, it's the really gross alcoholic drink, oh.
Tomato juice. Like there's
Never
so
had
many
it,
better
but
things.
it's, but like, it just looks
You're too young
disgusting.
to drink.
Yeah, my grandma's in it on.
Tomato juice is disgusting.
Yeah, so you had 3 kids, anything else, do you guys know?
He made himself head of the church, right?
He was
Correct,
the
he
8th Henry.
became the head of the church.
He was the 8th Henry.
He had a
was
book
the-
written about him.
Huh? He had a book, he had a play written about him. And
Called what? Henry the 8th.
7. Oh man, twist it up.
And
Is there a Henry the Ninth, or did everyone kind of stop after him?
I actually don't know that. I think there's, no, he might have been the last Henry.
Because no one likes him.
Because everyone's like, man,
He's kind of infamous. Yeah.
we gotta change this
Cool.
name. There's this gif of, you know, the
This is so
So, here are your guys' texts.
Oh,
If you guys could write down your name and the book number, on here? that would be great.
We have to write.
There is a book number.
There is a book.
Popcorn is from the cigar.
Okay, so it's indicating, right, we define ourselves by our society, but isn't society just made up of us? So isn't that weird to define ourselves by ourselves? That's
It's
the
the chicken
comment.
and the egg.
That is what it is. It's kind of one of those.
Although the chicken came first, because the protein and the egg shell can only be produced in a chicken womb, if you will, so the chicken came first.
You just.
Therefore, the individual came first, because society.
God.
No one cares.
So there's this question of like, how do we define ourselves? What is our society telling us to do? How are we to act rightly? And the only thing that we're getting is get as much as you can, spend as much as you can.
The consumers culture.
We are in a consumerist culture, and that's the thing that's
Actually,
defining
we're
us.
in spirit culture.
So socially, we fly from the idea of an individual to the professional describers, the classifiers, then the categories, and a quick ear for the latest subdivision, who flourish among us like priests. Individually, we do what we can to describe and classify ourselves, and so assure ourselves that from the outside at least, we do have a definite outline. Both socially and individually, it is with us as it is in our cities, an accelerated flight to the periphery, leaving a center which is empty in the hours of business, when the hours of business are over. So he's using the metaphor now of the city to describe ourselves, in the sense that we're so focused on trying to define our borders that we end up losing who we are on the inside. Isn't that kind of like what happens with cities, right? We have the city sprawl and then everyone moves to the suburbs, right? Because they're better. The suburbs are better, and then we end up having an empty city.
Yeah. It's called counter-urbanization.
It is. Whoa! So,
Wait, so cities are us?
it's a metaphor. It's a metaphor.
As the cities?
In the same way that the city, it builds up and then it sprawls out to its edges. In the same way we do that with ourselves. We don't really know what our essence is. We just define ourselves by our outline, right? Our outline is the things
When's
that I do.
Becca's geography exam?
But you don't give it the power to kill you.
When's Becca's geography exam? Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Popcorn back.
That is an ambitious style of thinking, and pride cometh before a fall. But it was with some such ideas in mind that I started on this way, or else they developed as I wrote it, or else I have developed them in defense of it now that it is written. It is not easy to know what a play is about until it is finished, and by then, what it is about is incorporated in it, irreversibly, and is no more to be separated from it than the shape of a statue is to be separated from the marble. Writing a play is thinking, not thinking about thinking, more like a dream than a scheme, except that it lasts 6 months or more, and that one is responsible for it.
Yeah.
I like that line.
That writing is like a dream, except you're responsible for it. And it takes 6 months. So, that paragraph is indicating what? What is he saying?
You have to finish the play before you do the
Right, and so these are his reflections on the play.
Why, I really like his layout. Yeah, you like to know what your last about, it's over, it's over.
I'm sorry, what?
You only know what your last about, it's over.
Fair enough, yeah, that's a good metaphor for that.
Yeah.
But it's hard to
Very
do.
deep. It was a sad.
How can
Well,
you measure what a man is worth? I'm sorry, that was Prince of Egypt.
That's
You can only see through the eyes of man. So look at your life through heaven's eyes.
What?
Yeah.
What I was thinking.
Sing
Right,
it.
so
What's the tune?
the way that God values our life in its entirety, right? Right, God values our life in its entirety, right? And so we can only see our lives in part, and that's why we put a value marker on it. That's not always necessarily up to value, right? Because we don't know the entirety. In the same way, that's kind of like the writing scene. When you're in the process of writing, you don't really know what you're writing until you're done.
This layout really nice. She's got
It's
plans
really
in,
nice.
it's really nice, and there's no space.
There is no space. So he's indicating in this paragraph that, like, guess what? These are all the thoughts that I've had as I've been writing and as I've completed my play. All these ideas about the self and the way that we define ourselves by society, right? Those are going to be themes that come up through the text as we're reading.
My
Great.
feet are cold
Popcorn new?
and wet.
Would you say popcorn new, Becca?
Popcorn.
I didn't have popcorn, I didn't shoot.
Then you can popcorn.
Abigail knows.
Abigail, no more popcorn.
Give me popcorn.
Hey, you want
At any rate, Thomas More, as I wrote about him, became from a man with a more adamant sense of his own self. He knew where he began and left off, what area of himself he could yield to the encroachments of his enemies, and what to the encroachments of those he loved. It was a substantial area in both cases, where he had a proper sense of fear and was a busy lover. Since he was a clever man and a great lawyer, he was able to retire from those areas in a wonderfully good order. But at length he was asked to retreat from the final area where he located his self. And there was this supple, humorous, unassuming, and sophisticated person set like metal, was overtaken by absolute primitive rigor, and he could no more be budged than a cliff.
Great.
Oh.
So, what is this paragraph indicating?
There's this guy, Thomas More, that
Yes.
could fit in any society because he knew who he was outside society.
Right. And so what is this play going to be about?
Thomas More
Thomas More and what?
in any society.
Maybe not.
And verse Henry VIII, it wasn't a man
A man of all seasons.
Great. Well, so yeah, that's you going beyond what I was actually looking for. That's great.
Wait.
That wasn't the answer that was necessarily looking for. That's a really good answer. The idea that it's going to be about a man for all seasons because he knew what?
who he was,
He
despite the society.
Right. He knew his self. He knew what the self was. And so what is this play going to answer?
Who the self is.
Yeah, what am I? This play is going to attempt to answer that question. Very different from Oscar Wilde.
Because he's just funny.
Despite society.
Great, so Papa Manning, right? Oh gosh.
Really?
So,
Wow.
no, we will
We only
finish,
read like 3 chapters.
it's okay, we will finish the preface tomorrow. Yes.
We actually might not be here because we have
Oh, do you
an
have an
exam in the morning.
I'm always here.
We get always.
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 We'll play it by ear then.
We can guide.
Great.
I'm bored,
Um,
so.
We'll see how far we get. We'll see what happens tomorrow.
Wait. So me.
What's that?
I was just gonna maybe.
Thank you guys.
What do we-
So which two you wanted to help out with the play?
Abby's hurt.
Fort is not even here to like cover.
What do you need us to do?
I need you guys to act
Yeah, they do it.
for parts. Really quick.
Which
And the
play?
name of the play is
Man of all.
Embrace. And so basically all you will do is hug. But you have to do it in 4 acts. And so I have acts, right? So the first act is you open the arms. The second one is you wait. The third act is you hug. And then the 4th act is you actually let go. And so I'm going to be explaining all of those different steps.
So they
all
just
the-
stand there really awkwardly.
You have to stand there really awkwardly with like your arms open, and then you have to stand there really awkwardly hugging in front of the entire school.
We should have been here. We do this.
It's too late.
They already signed up.
They already signed up.
Oh man.
Great.
Like hugs, don't deny it.
Get out of here, guys.
Only when I initiate, when people run